Are you microwaved or air popped? How our expectations and our willingness to be patient can dictate the end results of everything in our lives, including our own mental stability. Good evening and welcome to the Pause YouTube channel. This is our very first YouTube video of 2020 and thank you for tuning in. Today's message is about are you microwaved or are you air popped? So this morning, just coming into work, thinking about Bible scripture that I read and lots of things that have been going on and the things that I see and patterns and stuff like that. I was kind of not in prayer, but talking to God about how quickly we expect these, our prayers to be answered, how quickly we decide we need healing and it needs to happen right away so I can move on with my life, and how quickly we can move from one relationship to another, how quickly, we expect people to get over things, especially when we've done them harm. We feel like we apologize, let's move on, why are you dwelling in the past type stuff. So I kind of thought about, popcorn, and how most people will tell you the movie theater popcorn is the absolute best popcorn, right? Well, I'm gonna take that a step further. I prefer to make popcorn at home on the stove, air popped. Not like the Jiffy Pop, but you take a big pot, you put a little bit of oil up to coat the bottom, but you don't put too much because it'll fry the kernels, so it won't actually pop and turn into popcorn. But you put just enough oil in there for it to generate a bunch of heat, but you put a lid on it before you ever put the kernels in. And then with that heat, and then you put the kernels in once it's hot enough. Over time, not long, but at the right time, it'll pop. And then you'll get a big, nice pot of fluffy, good popcorn that tastes just like the movie theater popcorn, depending on how you season it, or better. But so often we go with these bags because, one, it's more convenient. I just throw it in the microwave and I stand there for 3 minutes and voila, I have popcorn. But it's not quite as good as the air pop popcorn or the popcorn that you put in the popcorn machines at the movie theater, which takes just a little bit longer than that 3 minutes that we stand there tapping our foot, waiting on this popcorn to get ready because we want to go watch our movie, we want to go do the things we want to do, or we need a quick snack. So when we think about that, that's how we expect results in our lives. That's how we expect God to work. That's how we expect our businesses to become successful. That's how we expect our kids to change their behavior, or for other people in our lives to change their behavior. That's how we expect our relationships to go. When we decide we want a person, we're ready. We want it to happen right then and there. We're not waiting patiently to determine if that person is ready, to determine if it's time for us to be in a relationship, if this is going to work for us long term, because we want those microwave results. Biggest thing is weight loss and working out. We're in January, so people are putting up vision boards. We're setting fitness goals. We're setting weight loss goals. And some of us are out here trying to lose the whole 10, 15 pounds that we should be losing the whole year in January to get it over with. And that sounds great, but what do you have to do to get there? So a lot of times what we miss is the change behavior that we need to put in place. What we miss is that thing that will get us further if we just be patient and take our time and get to that place. So for instance, you want to start a business and you're just ready for it to start and be successful, but you're not testing your product. You're not making sure your product is ready for the market that you're trying to target before you put it out there. And you're just saying, hey, I have a product, buy it from me. And then people buy it, but they're not satisfied because you didn't do your due diligence and you didn't take the time to let it heat up and get where it needed to be before you threw those kernels in for them to pop. Relationships are key, not just romantic relationships, but the relationships we have with our parents, with our children. Some case in point, you get into an argument with someone and so often we're ready for us to set it aside and move on, or you've wronged someone and you apologize, but they're not quite over it. They're still saying, I accept your apology, but I'm not ready for this. How many times do we break up with people and it's like, oh, I still want to be friends. Well, maybe they're not ready for a friendship. Maybe they still need to get past the hurt that you caused, or, the hurt that they caused you, so that they can figure out how to be a better friend to you, So when I talk about, are you microwaved or air popped? Like, look at your life, look at the most important things in your life and determine and assess whether or not you've allowed that thing to get where it needs to be properly prepared and be a long-term satisfactory thing, or if you've just settled for that last little bit, that thing that'll just get it done so you can move forward with what you want to do. And you'll find some areas you're probably going to say, yeah, I microwave that. If I had waited this long, or if I had waited to do this, it would have been 10 times better. You know, even in when you're wronged and someone apologizes, you're expecting that change overnight. The reality is, yeah, trust is built over time. It's not built today and you hurt me and then I'm going to lose that trust for you and you're going to come back and apologize and I'm back at 100%. It just doesn't work like that. So I want to challenge everybody to kind of look at your life in the aspect of popcorn. You know, what kind of popcorn do you want? Which one do you prefer? If you prefer microwave popcorn, go right ahead. Most people don't. You know, they've proven, or they've had studies that came out and said that some of these powders that they use in the popcorn are cancerous. They're carcinogens. They can cause cancer long term. You know, granted, that's if you eat a whole bunch of it every single day for years and years and years, but you know, are we taking in stuff that's poisonous to our bodies or our minds or our hearts or our souls for the sake of getting a result today versus waiting on the good thing, waiting on the right thing, waiting on the thing that is ready for us a few days, a few weeks, a few months, a few years down the line? You know, starting off pause was, oh, okay, God gave me a vision, but it took me 2 years to even decide, yeah, it's time for me to do this. Why? Because I wasn't ready to do what I'm doing right now. I wasn't ready to talk and to be free about my and be transparent about my struggles and what I deal with my mental health and you know, even talk before people that I don't know about it. So how many times have we just said, has God given you a vision that you just hit the ground running with, but you didn't stop and say, am I supposed to do it right now? Lord, am I ready? What do I need to do this? Have you sat down and written that out for yourself or for somebody else just to see where you stand and what you need? Do you have it? Are you prepared for what it is you're asking for? So my encouragement today, my thing I want everyone to look at is, are we microwaving or are we air popping our popcorn? Are we taking the time and doing our due diligence to make sure that what it is we're trying to bring to fruition, what we're trying to bring to life, what we're trying to fix, what we're trying to repair, what we're trying to heal from, that we're doing it in a way that is going to benefit us long term, not that 3 minutes while we're tapping our foot waiting on it to get ready. Are you watching the microwave, or are you allowing it to simmer and get to the point where it's ready to pop kernels in and turn into popcorn? I know it's a very strange analogy. It's probably something far-fetched, but it came to me, you know, even reading some of the scriptures. I'm doing Bible plans specific to healing, as that's the theme of the conference for this year. And a lot of times Jesus goes in and he does some of the most unorthodox things, but the healing comes right after he does it. You know, the healing is almost instantaneous for a lot of these people, but we've got to realize he was Jesus. He can do these miracles. Like, he can just think, oh, this man is deaf. I'm gonna stick my finger in his ear and lick it, stick my finger back in, and he's going to be fine. Like, he could do that. Chances are that's not what's going to happen for us. You know, we've got to go to doctors. We've got to have procedures done to cure the deaf these days. And that's okay. You know, you're healing, even though you may be praying today and you've been praying for months for your healing. Have you changed your behaviors? Have you sat down with a therapist and asked, I'm struggling with this. This is bothering me and I don't know why I can't move past it. Have you done your homework in terms of the prayers that you've requested of God? You know, it's important that we know how to do those things. You know, instead of saying, Lord, I asked you for healing. Where's my healing? My hands are out. I'm asking you for healing. It might take us 6 months. It might take us a year, but it takes actually saying, I want the long-term benefit, not the I feel better today situation. You know, relationships. I like this man. I want this man. We need to just do this now because I want him now. But then 6 months down the line, you realize it's not really what you wanted. So popcorn. We don't want microwave results and the things that we want to be permanent in our lives, the things that we want to use as tools to catapult us to success. We don't want to use microwave theories when we're trying to cultivate lasting relationships with our children and our families and our significant others and everyone else. So I'm going to encourage you, sit down, write a list of the things that you think you might have microwaved and the things that you might have let go through that popcorn machine or air popped on your stove, and assess, am I happy with this result or not? That's my challenge to you. Hopefully this speaks to somebody, or hopefully it makes sense, because again, popcorn popped in my head when I was really searching myself about this healing that Jesus was doing for people, and how we now expect that to happen for us in our own lives. Not that it can't be done, but it likely needs to be cultivated. It needs to be tended to. It needs to be prayed about. You need to be patient in that process. So hopefully this helps you. Over the coming weeks, I want to just kind of dive a little bit deeper into just this whole analogy with the popcorn, because you've got to prepare yourself to make the popcorn in the first place. Then you've got to cook the popcorn, which would be the process we want to focus on. And then at the end, we've got the popcorn cooked and ready to go, but now we've got to serve this, which means now we've got to decide what topping we're going to put on it. Are we going to salt it? We're going to butter it? We're going to add caramel? Are we going to add white cheddar? It just depends on the flavor and what we're looking for. So I want to make sure that we dive into this and expand on it in a way that makes everyone understand how microwaving and air popping popcorn can change the face of your mental stability. Don't forget to check out our website, www.pausewellness.org, and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Pause Wellness Blog. PAUSE Wellness Blog. Have a great night.